Welcome wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us. We're spot on at our start time. We're going to give this just a few more seconds before we begin. So please bear with us just for a few more seconds. We would love for all of us in the meantime to just mention in the chat box the city and the country that you are from. The city and the country that you are from. I can see a bunch of messages already highlighting the city and the country. So Germany, the US, Canada, all across India, Denmark already. So we'd love to read. We have Manila, Philippines. Wonderful, wonderful. What
And
diversity.
Hyderabad, importantly. A big welcome from my side as well to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being here and joining us today.
Lovely. Excellent. Thank you, Veer. And we'll just take a few more seconds here and then get started. All right. I think we're good to go. I'm going to let you do the introductions and then we go from there.
Thank you. I think with yourself, we don't need an introduction. We have, Mr. Ganesh Kohli with us today, who is really the person who's given birth to this movement and gone on this mission to get counseling in every school. So it's a pleasure to be here with him today, and he is the chair of the conference as well. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm the co-chair this year. Very excited to edge closer and closer to that conference week. And I'll be co-chair. Otherwise, I work with the University of St. Andrews in Scotland, and I'm based out of Delhi. So very excited to be here with all of you today.
Thank you, Veer. I didn't ask you to embarrass me, but I wanted you to introduce yourself. Welcome, everybody. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining us. There's a very auspicious piece of news that I can share with you, which is that we are over 1,000 attendees already at the annual Ic3 conference. And a big congratulations to all of you. This is now the largest Ic3 conference already. The largest was 955 people last year. There were 926 in 2019. So we are already the largest Ic3 conference. Based on the trends that we see, we will be well past 1,500 delegates at the conference, and we could be up to 2,000 delegates at the conference, with the ratio being about 1,200 school delegates and 800 organizational and university delegates. So we warmly welcome all of you already to the annual Ic3 conference. I notice that many of us are already registered, and we want to make sure that we show you ourselves and talk, because these days attention spans have fallen from 4 hours to 4 seconds. We aren't reading our emails much anymore in most cases. I struggle with my attention span all the time. And a conference of the scale of Ic3 and of the nature of Ic3 requires a little bit of preparation and planning, which we are going to really help you with. The goal of the conference is not participation, it's not attendance, it is transformation. IC3 events and conferences and activities are largely transformational, as many of our colleagues will vouch for. And for there to be transformation and for there to be the magic, for you to actually experience this magic, it's important that we work on some of the details. So we're going to leave a good 20, 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes for questions. And we're going to deep dive into all the preparatory work that we want to do. First and foremost, this is a hybrid conference. Many of us have a question mark in our minds about virtual conference, hybrid conference, and what the experience is like. The best way to know what a hybrid conference is to watch the video from last year. We have a conference video which one of our colleagues can share. You can save it and watch it. It's also on the homepage of the IC3 conference website. When we talk about a hybrid experience, there are 100 people in a room. Every one of the 100 people, whether they are in person or they are virtual, will be heard and seen seamlessly at the same time. This is not an abstract piece where people who are virtual show up in their pajamas and, they dress up to go to the conference just like if they were coming to Hyderabad. So whether you are in person or you are virtual, it's important for you to prepare and come to the conference just like you are there, because you would be visible in the ballroom to all 2,000 people or 1,500 people, irrespective of whether you are in person or you are virtual. You're going to be heard by all 1,500, 2,000 people, irrespective of whether you're virtual or you're in person. And everyone in the room, you would have multiple cameras relaying into your office or your own home what is happening around at the venue. So this is a very real virtual experience, and therefore we don't call it anything but a hybrid conference. It's almost 80% like you're there. Although we'd love to have everybody there physically, and currently we are pacing at 93% of our registrations are in person, 93%, which means that in that ballroom, out of the 2,000 people, we should be at about 16 to 1,800 people in person physically. So as you speak to your colleagues and friends and others, know that this is very real, whether it's in person or it's virtual, and you can invite. There's no limitation on how many people can attend virtually or physically. Right now, we've got the venue and the capacity to make this happen. Your health and safety is going to remain our priority. And, at this moment, we are not asking for anything but for you to be vaccinated. And we will essentially just ask you to confirm that at the venue. In some cases, there may be random checks on vaccination, but we trust that everybody who will come will honor that request. Of course, there are very simple temperature checks at the venue that will happen so that everybody who is at the venue, is in good health. And we encourage self-responsibility, making sure that you are there without any cold, cough, any kind of, feeling that you're not well. You would want to just be mindful in the interest of all the participants that you make decisions responsibly on attending the conference. There is a lot happening on the 2 main days of the conference, and I'm going to come to that on the 24th and the 25th. But there is a lot happening before and after the conference. And we want everybody to be familiar with that. We notice that many of us here have not yet gotten involved in their preparation or have not yet signed up or gotten involved with pre and post conference activities. So I'm going to talk about high school delegates, and we will talk about what university delegates can do, and I can add on that. But if you are a high school delegate, you are one of two categories. You are either a teacher or a counselor, or you are a school leader or a principal or a school owner. If you are a school leader or a principal or a school owner, there is the Ic3 Presidential Forum, which happens on the 23rd of August. It is at Oak Ridge International School, a very, very well-renowned international school in Hyderabad and one of the 12 host schools in Hyderabad. And so you are welcome to attend the Presidential Forum. However, you need to be pre-approved, and there is a link to RSVP for the Presidential Forum on the Ic3 conference website. Our colleague Kate has been posting links. Your principal, if you are a principal already, or a school owner, or part of the management senior leadership of the school, you can RSVP to attend. If you the Presidential Forum, you can be in person or you can be virtual, but you need to RSVP, and we will confirm your participation for that. If you haven't already RSVP'd, you can do that. Counselors and teachers and others in schools are requested not to RSVP for this. This is not relevant for you. For counselors and school teachers and others from the high school side, there are two pre-conference workshops, level 1 and level 2, hosted by Srinidhi International School and Hyderabad Public School in Ramantapur. These are two other host schools in Hyderabad. Make sure that you are registered for this. If you are a counselor with less than 3 years of work experience, or you are just beginning counseling, you will do the level 1 workshop. If you are a counselor with more than 3 years of work experience, or you will do the level 2 workshop. So we encourage you to register just like you register for the conference. You can register through the conference registration link for the pre-conference workshop. Some of us might have a question that we've already registered for the conference. So what do we do now? You can go back and edit your registration. There is that link in your registration confirmation email that you should have access to, and you should be able to register for the pre-conference workshop. For the Presidential Forum, you need to RSVP and wait for approval, and you can do that on behalf of your principal or your school management if they would like to attend either physically or virtually. There is no fee to attend the Presidential Forum, either virtually or in person. There is a fee, a small fee of $25 to attend the pre-conference workshop. So make sure that you are aware that if your leadership would want to attend the Presidential Forum and they're not traveling to Hyderabad, they can still do that. It's a closed event. It's an invitation-only event. And we have infinite capacity for virtual attendance, about 200 people that we can accommodate in person. And so I just wanted to leave that with you. Questions on this are welcome after we finish the initial pieces. Our university colleagues can also attend the Ic3 Presidential Forum, provided their deans, vice chancellors, provosts, vice presidents, chancellors, or presidents of institutions. The Presidential Forum is not relevant for admissions, colleagues in admissions at this time. For colleagues in admissions and outreach and enrollment management, Veer will share with you what you can do pre as well as post conference. Over to you, Veer.
Thank you. And just before we move on to talking about these opportunities from a university perspective, very early on in the conference, I think the best way that you as a university can really prepare is just to keep in mind that this is not a passive conference. This is a proactive conference. It's not sitting behind a desk, but to have that ability and that preparedness to interact with people, to go and chat with people. I think that's the best preparation that as a university that you can do. Alongside that, and apart from the two main days of the conference, a brilliant opportunity to interact with students is at the IC3 Fair and Symposium. So the fair and symposium is going to take place on 2 days, one on the 23rd, and then the other day for the fair and symposium is on the 26th of August. So before and after the two main days of the conference. And on each of the 2 days, you have two schools that you can visit and meet students at those schools. We have the Delhi Public School in Nacharam on the 1st, the 23rd morning, and then the Glendale Academy on the afternoon of the 23rd. And then you have a brilliant school. We've got Silver Oaks International on the 26th morning, followed by Oak Ridge International on the afternoon of the 26th. So again, a great opportunity for universities to actually interact with students. As admissions officers, we always want to do that, and that's always part of our preparation for any event.
Thank you, Veer. And so for our colleagues on the university side, the pre and the post-conference fair and symposiums are organized by, are set up at schools, and they are set up again in the spirit of access and inclusion. So each of the host schools that are actually hosting, there are 4 host schools across those 2 days on the 23rd and the 26th. Each of those schools are also inviting schools in their vicinity. They are allowing parents and students, not just students, but parents and students from their own school to attend, but also parents and students from schools around. And these would largely be students who are in year 11 and year 12 in high school that would be in attendance. Now, some of us would say, we already registered for the conference, but did not register for the IC3 Fair and Symposium. You can go back and edit your registration and add the fair and symposium, just like the high school delegates can add the pre-conference workshop. The fair and symposiums are completely in person. There is nothing virtual about it. It's not hybrid. It's not virtual. It is only in person. The pre-conference workshops and the presidential forum are hybrid, which means you can attend in person or virtually. IC3 in general as a principle does not engage directly with students, but being in Hyderabad, having 600 to 800 university and organizational delegates, we allow through the IC3 conference, before and after the conference, for our university participants to have access to students and parents in the city. Across these 2 days, you could potentially be meeting over 4,000 students and many parents. So we are talking about a very significant number of parents and students, not just across the 4 high schools that you are going to, but across another 15 or 20 schools that will participate at least along with these 4 high schools at these venues. Also, we will, I saw a question from Poonam about transport from the conference hotel for the pre-conference workshops. We are not able to provide transport to the 2 pre-conference workshops. You will need to find an Uber or find your own. You can pull in with other people. You can do that. IC3 scholars will have transport available that are being accommodated there. They will have transport available also, but we are not providing transport for the general public because people are staying at different hotels and different places. Um, and so, you would really need to do that. However, for, the fair and symposium, which are where there is movement between one from the hotel to one school to another school and back. So there may be some opportunities and some arrangements that will be made. We will share with you separately on an email if you are attending the fair and symposium. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next slide and see if there are any questions. We will come back. I can see, can we have someone moderate, maybe Kate or someone else? Veer, if you want to keep an eye on the chat box, if something can be addressed, you can do that. But yeah, I can
Sure.
see Alexandra has asked, will the schools receive a list of participating universities? Absolutely. They will have a comprehensive list. All the students will have a comprehensive list and parents of those schools attending. And their interest will be shared also. The students' interest, a lot of those pieces will be available. And these are very well prepared fairs. So all the 60 or 80 or 100 universities that will be there are going to be recognizable. Students would know about these universities. There are some pre-fair orientations that would have happened that the host schools will do, and also when they invite. So there is preparation for that. We also see, I've already registered for the 23rd pre-conference workshop. What should I do? Just look out for your email and read your emails and keep your attention spans high. We will also have the mobile app that will get launched. So yeah, you should be doing level 1 workshop, Mukeshji. Ideally, you should be registering for level 1 right to the info@IC3 movement ID, and you can change from level 2 to level 1 if you'd like to do that. That's absolutely possible.
And I think generally when we talk about level 1, we're talking about newer counselors who've had maybe less than, a few years of experience. And if you've had more experience than that, then level 2 is probably a better option for you.
Perfect. I did want to share one more piece. All of us, even those who attend in person, will have access to the IC3 conference platform, which means that you can also engage with the virtual audience. If you ended up sitting, if we ran out of space in a room and you said, only 160 people can attend a breakout session and there's no more space there, at the venue, you can sit outside and log into that session from your computer. Although hopefully you'll not need to do that. But all the 1,500 or 1,800 in-person delegates will also have access to the virtual platform. So you can interact seamlessly with people who are attending the conference virtually. Also, there is a pre-conference networking, which is virtual only, where you can meet each other on that platform on the 22nd of August, which is the Monday. Again, information, keep looking at your email and all of that. You can prepare for, you can learn about the virtual platform, even if you're an in-person attendee, because you may want to come for the pre-conference virtual hype session and all of that. But you've got plenty of opportunity to also engage with those who do not physically make it to Hyderabad. So that's something that I'd want to leave you with. I'm going to move on in the interest of time, and Kate will direct us to come back to, to certain questions. But what is the conference schedule like? It's on the website. It will be on the conference mobile app that you'll receive, but it's currently on the website, and our colleagues will share a link to the conference schedule. In the chat box is very busy, as you can see. What is going to happen in these 2 days on the 24th and the 25th? A lot. It's going to be, from meditations on both mornings to 43 breakout sessions. The final count is 43 breakout sessions. At any given point, you have 7 different options to choose from. There's a lot of decision making. You need to find out and make your choices. Just like career and college choices, you have to choose between 7 sessions in every slot. There are 3 large convenings with all 2,000 people in one room. There are keynote addresses. There's a commencement speech. There is a graduation of about 250 IC3 Institute cohort members who become counselors. There is a gala dinner. There are the IC3 India Awards. There are some breakfast series and reception series. I cannot even talk about it. A lot of people know that IC3 overall, the movement is an ocean. The conference itself is an ocean of activity. And so it's really important to bring back the attention span that we had in the olden days and go on the website, look at the schedule, follow your email trails, make sure if you're not getting emails, check your spam and, put IC3 movement emails in your safe list so that you can actually look at the schedule. But it's a packed schedule. Conference registration will be open as early as the 8 a.m. on the 23rd of August. And, you will actually get your badges, lanyards, everything, and you can start networking and getting involved. Throughout the 24th and 25th is going to be packed. From 7 a.m. we start on the 24th until 5 p.m. on the 25th. So plan ahead. You will know what you will do. Mark out your sessions, where you will go, what you will attend. The common ones is a no-brainer. I want to talk specifically about a moment in time when we will have planned networking at the conference. And the slide that I am sharing with you right now is actually highlighting that. During lunch, during dinner, during tea coffee breaks, you can imagine we are in the corridors. We are in the IC3 Expo area. We are networking and meeting each other all the time. It's a melting pot for people from 70 plus countries. This year will be at the IC3 conference. And in addition, there are 2 periods of 90 minutes each. Maybe it's a little bit more than 90 minutes, but 90 minutes for sure, where we are going to have planned networking or speed dating, where in the university exhibits, this is different from the IC3 Expo. The IC3 Expo, which I will talk about later, is completely different from the university exhibits and the high school exhibits. I want to highlight very quickly, on day 1, we have the university exhibits. Am I right? Is it day 1 that the university exhibits on the 24th?
Correct.
What will happen is, in the large ballroom, all the 400 or 600 or 300 universities will set up a table. All the universities, every single university will have a 3 feet table set up, 3 feet only. And they'll be lined up, and all the school delegates will walk through that room, meeting and exchanging information, shaking hands and sharing about their universities, will share about their institutions. And you will have a QR code on your badge that can be shared to exchange information. Although we would encourage strongly that you have business cards, but you can use your mobile camera, scan the QR code and identify who you have met, etc. You can do that. Similar activity will happen on the 25th of August, where all the high schools, and my dear high school colleagues in this group, this is something you're not familiar with. Universities are very used to setting up a table. My high school friends here are not as familiar with. We really would like you to know that when the high school exhibit happens, you are going to have a 3 feet table in the name of your high school. And you have to go and man that table. And all the 800 high schools or 700 high schools, or we'll have 1200 high school delegates, hopefully, but there could be 600 high schools, 800 high schools. Every high school will have a table. And our university delegates this time will be walking around the room like you did on the first day and be meeting with you. This is only an in-person activity. The high school exhibits and the university exhibits are only in person. This is one of the few places which is rare. The networking, the speed dating networking will happen pre-conference on the virtual platform on the 22nd of August for those schools and universities and everybody who are attending only virtually, but also everybody else who is attending in person. So I wanted to highlight this. Make sure you carry a small tablecloth if you can, that talks, with your school branding on it, or just a little something to put on the table, your business cards, maybe one little one-pager on your school or your university. Please don't load yourself with too much material during the high school exhibit. People don't want to carry hundreds of pieces of paper. So we use technology, and no large standees, etc. It's going to be very limited space, just something on the table. It's a place to just shake hands, get to know each other, have a small quick chat, and continue that connection for the years to come. This is what we call speed dating, not marriage. So there, you are not going to go and sit on one table for 1 hour. It's going to be 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And there's a lot of people in that room. So it's our acoustics are phenomenal. So it's not going to be difficult on the ears, but still with so many people, it can be a challenge. So initiate your connections. There is 1.5 hours on 24th, 1.5 hours on 25th, universities behind the table, schools walking in front of them on the 24th, schools behind the table, universities walking in front of them on the 25th. I hope my experience as a teacher for 20 years is coming in handy. And please forgive my very teacher-like demeanor if I am overly explanatory. But Veer, if you have something to add here.
I think you've covered all of it, but what I will add is just from personal experience that those 90 minutes fly by. So I think it's really important that we don't spend too much time. You really want to be able to talk with as many people as possible. But I would just say, this is a great opportunity, like to interact with with people, but the corridors are a great space also to introduce yourself, to have smaller conversations, to sit down, have a coffee tea between sessions. So while this gives you a formal space and an exhibit like environment, but even if you don't meet someone or you don't have the time, run out of time, I think the corridors are just, they're just massive places of knowledge and networking that you can still take part in. So I think that's something that I experienced that I thought I'll add. And just to be prepared with, like you said, we can have technology, but business cards, simple brochures, I think as universities, we're more used to doing it. But for counselors and schools, it's maybe a slightly newer concept for some people.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Anita Weiss had asked about the virtual networking will continue throughout on the platform throughout the week. So, that will continue. It will happen. Everybody will dedicatedly do that on Monday, but throughout the conference also, we will all have login access. So Anita, every one of us who are in person will also be on the platform at a time that we are wanting to sit on a computer and connect. So just so that you know. I'm going to move on and then open this up for questions. So the mobile app is coming to you. Please download it, get active on it. It's very, very important to be active there. That's something that will be helpful. And we have several other pieces ongoing, like the IC3 Expo. This is an area where lunch and dinner will also be served, where tea and coffee will also be served. There are universities that have signed up for the IC3 Expo. They will have a table throughout the 2 days. There are organizations that have signed up for that. Many of our sponsors will have their tables there. At the IC3 Expo, every time you sit with your lunch, dinner, you are having conversations with people because you're in the area of the expo. Unlike many other conferences, the IC3 Expo happens in the place where everybody is together. So our expo participants, our exhibitors in the IC3 Expo are constantly with people because people have to be in that space. And so I know universities have asked us about whether they should be participating. Those 3 hours at the university exhibit at 1.5 hours at the university exhibit is dedicated where you're just exhibiting on a 3-feet table for that 1.5 hours. But if you would like to constantly be networking and meeting people at your table throughout the 2 days, then we recommend that you sign up and be in the IC3 Expo. You can look up the details on the IC3 Expo. And this time we also have several school consortiums and others that will have an expo table there. But largely it's university delegates that can sign up for the IC3 Expo. You can look at and organizational delegates, of course. You can look up the details. And remember, the expo is also where you go for your tea, coffee, lunch, and dinner. So it's a busy space, lots of networking throughout the 2 days in the expo area at the conference. Folks, 33 days to go. That's all I have to say and finish with. It's just very exciting for us that we've gotten this close. I wanted to just take a moment and acknowledge this conference is a manifestation of the relentlessness and the passion of IC3 volunteers. I am only one of them. Veer is only one of them. We are 900 plus, and we are led by the IC3 volunteer effort is led by the most amazing IC3 volunteer who devoted himself for 3.5 years before he became the assistant vice president and the co-chair of the conference initially, Jim McLaughlin. Without Jim, we would not have this level of service and intensity that we see our volunteer community. And Another group that I want to acknowledge is, so Jim is really going to be key, and with the volunteers. I also want to acknowledge Sita Murthy ma'am, who's the principal director of Silver Oaks and is the chair of the host school committee. Relentlessly, our host school committee and so many leaders in the host school committee, principals, directors, counselors, they are working many hours in Hyderabad right now. They are preparing for you, and they are focused, they are focused on love and logistics. A great conference is about love and logistics. And so there are hundreds of people manifesting this conference. If you see me or Veer too much doing the talking, or some of us, please know that we are little, tiny particles in the whole ecosystem. And we are standing on many shoulders, and we are visible. But there are almost 500, 700 shoulders that we are standing on. The IC3 team, our colleagues at different organizations that are supporting the conference, our sponsors who are so generous, and so they are not asking us what more can you do for us. Our sponsors are so unique. They ask us, what can we do for you? What more can we do? How can we help in preparing for the conference? So you will be astonished. Many of our sponsors are volunteering to serve you, to actually welcome you, to take care of things. So IC3 is not just another conference. It is an entire ecosystem. And you will see that you will get nourished in those 3 days. We go beyond comparisons and competition, and you will have a lot of nourishment that you can experience. So please come to a celebration of career and college counseling, not to an event. It is a grand celebration. And I forgot to tell you the most important thing. We all let our hair down, we dance, we celebrate. It's all right if you don't like to dance, you can dance within. But, there is no alcohol at IC3. We are zero alcohol policy. But, we dance better than when you have alcohol. We really celebrate. We really celebrate, and this is, you are all actually signed up for a celebration of career and college council. So I'm going to open this up for questions, Veer. If you want to bring some up, I can see some hands raised as well. So I'll let you moderate this part, Veer.
Sure. I'm just going through. I think I want to thank Kate. She's been really proactive in answering all the questions on the chat. But we have a question about where the pre-conference workshops are for counselors on the 23rd. So thanks, Kate. That's the link there. We have the level 1 workshop will be at the Srinidhi International School in Hyderabad, and then we've got the second one is going to be in the Hyderabad Public School, so HPS in Ramanathapur, if that's
Ramanthapur.
Ramanthapur.
I
Correct.
can see Anita has a question. How do we attend the 822 virtual networking? Everybody will get a link for that. Every conference registrant, university delegate, school delegate, organization delegate, in-person registrant, as well as virtual registrant. Everybody will get a link for that, Anita, if that answers your question. And I think Mukesh's question has been already answered. Many of the questions that I'm seeing here, the answers are on the website, on the conference website. So all it needs is a little bit of, looking at the conference website, etc. And so that's important for you to go through. But you'll get a detailed schedule. You'll also get a program booklet at the conference, a printed program booklet as well. I know some people like paper, but we're trying to save as much paper as possible. And so, you'll have all of those options available. Other questions, Veer, are you noticing? I can see Domaraju Radhika has raised her hand. Can you just post your question in the chat box? Domaraju, please.
Shall I pose a question to you, which is, will there be photographs of graduation? So I think you spoke about a
Absolutely. There will
celebration.
be
There has
all
to be
kinds of
photographs.
too
That
many
has to be the
photographs.
case.
You have a photograph for a photo booth. You have lots of photographs. Our graduating counselors are very excited. I think for our university colleagues, I also want you to know, bear in mind that many new counselors are coming into the ecosystem, courtesy the IC3 Institute, and all the work that the overall movement has been engaged in over the last 6 years. This is not just a wine and dine group of people who are the usual suspects. All the usual suspects, all the usual people are all going to be there, and they have been the most generous in their support. But all of these usual veteran counselors are supporting creation of a whole generation of hundreds of new counselors in schools. And so lots of those people, lots of conversations to be had. I can tell you, you're going to meet hundreds of new people if you have been to in the counseling space, even for 20 years or 25 years. You'll still meet many, many new counselors who have just begun counseling and so on. So wonderful. Any other
I
questions?
think all of them have been answered. Before I can pick them up, I think we answer the questions in the chat box. So there's when's the graduation schedule for the cohort members? So again, it's
On the
on the
24th.
schedule. It's on the 24th. Correctly said. Yeah.
7:30 p.m. the graduation ceremony will begin
Yeah.
on the 24th, and that will be followed by gala dinner and celebration. So that's what it is. Other questions? I'm checking the chat box.
Yes. I think we've.
Gomaraju, is there a way for you to put your question in the chat box? That will be fabulous. I can see something's come in the chat box. 1 second. Let me try to get there. Why can't I see the chat box?
So I think again some question about clarifying, registration for the high school table. So no, you do not need to register again. It's part of the registration. Those 90 minutes for high schools and then the other 90 for university exhibits. Those are separate. They're part of the registration. So no extra registration is required for those two in particular.
Wonderful. I already assigned the everything on those 2 days: lunch, dinner, tea, coffee, high school exhibit, university exhibit, everything, the gala dinner, the everything is included. $65 registration for school delegates, $800 registration for university delegates. Everything in those 2 days is included. Pre-conference and post-conference events you need to register. Universities may sponsor or choose to do an IC3 Expo table. That's another piece. I noticed questions on hotels nearby. There are plenty. We've got a list out there. We are doing it at the convention center, which is the Novotel. They, rooms are running out fast, and we had some discounted rates which were completely utilized. People have booked hotels way ahead of time, but you can look around in the hotel. Around, there are many hotels. There's a Lemon Tree, there's a Radisson, there's a Westin, there's an Oberoi. Depending on what there's an M Square. There are all kinds of hotels in that area. We have a logistics and travel partner in Chime Tours. Their details are on the website. You can look up the partner website and contact them. If you need transportation from the airport to the hotel, etc., you can book your own transportation through them. Unless you're taking an Uber, etc., you want to do a hotel reservation through them, you can do that. All of that. Gunmeet ma'am, lovely to see you here, and I'm hopeful you'll find a room at the Novotel if you can. But please do book hotels quickly if you haven't. The conference, Neha, will end at 5 p.m. Don't plan to leave before 5 p.m. on the 25th. That last keynote is phenomenal. That last period is the way forward. We'll introduce We will do the IC3 awards during that period. There's a spectacular student performance during that closing. You will leave in a very, very special session. So if you the airport at that time can take about 45 minutes to an hour. So if you have to fly out of Hyderabad on the 25th evening, I recommend that you take flights after 7:30 p.m. You will safely be able to leave um, at 5 o'clock or 5:15, and therefore reach in time for a flight after 7:30. Given how many people will go from the convention center to the airport, there may be some common logistic arrangements with 5 people going in a cab, maybe small mini buses going to the airport. You can figure that out later. Don't stress too much. If you leave after 5, there will be a way for you to get to the airport in time for a flight that is after 7:30 p.m. But book your flights after 7:30 p.m. or book your flights on the 26th morning. If you have to leave Hyderabad on 26th as soon as possible. If you are doing post-conference events as a university, then you will, the fairs, then you will go on 26th evening. But school delegates ideally leave 26th morning or late evening on the 25th.
So there's a couple of questions about those who've received scholarships and how the invoicing works for that and the general process.
So IC3, so there are different individuals, there are partial scholarships and there are full scholarships. When you have a partial scholarship, you have accommodation or you have registration or you have both. In that case, you have to just show up, and your scholarships are being coordinated by our colleague Anuradha Bahavar, and she will help out. If you are a full scholar where you also have flights available, you will book the flight. Post getting approval from Anuradha, you will pay for the flight, and at the IC3 conference venue, you will be reimbursed for it. You will get a check or whatever appropriate bank transfer will be done at the time that you are attending the conference. The condition is that you must show up at the conference for your flight to be paid. And so that is something that you will have, and it will be almost immediate. There will be an accounts team, someone will do the transfers and it will be taken care, or you will have a check and reimbursement for that. So IC3 scholars, please reach out to Anuradha Bavar on what scholarship you got, partial, full, and accordingly. We have over 100 IC3 scholars this year, and the scholarship applications are now closed, but you can go ahead and Ruchika, reach out. I can see you had that question also. And some of our colleagues, our sponsors are also able to nominate counselors. So if you would want to get your registration fee waived, you can reach out to one of our sponsors and ask them if they would like to do that. But it's for school delegates, registration fee has been subsidized dramatically. All meals included, all of the conference preparation and planning, the venue, all the materials. The cost of participation for school delegates doesn't even cover the cost of 2 meals at the venue. So I think it's really important that we acknowledge that you do that, allow people who are in need to benefit from the scholarships. If you have the resources, career and college counseling is worth investing some resources in as a school delegate. So I would encourage that.
Sarah, it's actually very sad you won't be able to make it, but do please feel free to connect with me or the wider IC3 team, and we can help you out with this. So
yeah, just write to Sarah, don't need any payments. we'll figure out why this is the case. It shouldn't be the case. And I think we'll deal with that. And scholarship is also available for virtual attendance, but the scholarship deadline has passed. So now one of the best ways is you can write to us, and one of the sponsors who has available nominations for counselors. Sarah, let me tell you, you will feel like you are with us. We'll make it happen. And we'll find a graduation gown and a hat in Denmark. I'm sure you're going to get one and wear it and sit. I think that will be fabulous.
There's an additional question about the scholarship being available in a virtual scenario. And yes, that is the case. That's correct.
Yes, we do have scholarships that are given out to those who attend virtually also. All right, looks like we have come to the end of our session today. This is not the only time you'll get questions answered. All of our colleagues, Veer, myself, all the IC3 team, IC3 volunteers are available. The recording of this session will also be available for some of us to view. So please, by all means, the schedules are already on the website. The detailed schedule with all breakout sessions will be on the mobile app. So you'll need to download the mobile app. And we're really, really looking forward. Please keep inviting colleagues to come to the conference, virtually or in person. We still have plenty of colleagues who are going to keep registering, and registration will be open until the day of the conference. People can even show up on the day of the conference and register. However, when they register early, we prepare them well. It's so much more valuable. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in Hyderabad or on the big screen in Hyderabad. Thank you, Veer.
Thank you. Thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you.